Alright guys, I'm going to be a cool dude today because don't go out in the fog without body protection, evidently. But anyway, I'm working on steering. Ran into an issue right away. I'll show you what that is, but we're getting started on it. It's going to take me a little while because I'm working really slow because of my eyes. Some of y'all know, but I end up with I don't know if it was from the fog or if I ran into an allergy situation with my eyes and they got all infected. So I can see fine. I'm good. Just getting over it. Right eye's almost healed up completely now. My bad eye, it's still taking a little while. But let's get the steering. All right, guys, I'm in my climate-controlled paint booth here.
Buddy.
I've got about I got at least three to four more layers of green to put down. Basically, I cleaned it up, primered it, then I painted aluminum as my base coat. And I come back with this duplicolor emerald green. It's the GM version, and I just fog it on about 4 to 5 layers, and then it'll end up looking like that when I'm done. Gotta get this done today because I want to do this today. Because outside it's about 50. Right here it's about 70. Of course I got the heat going in my climate controlled paint booth. But this time tomorrow it's supposed to be 10 degrees with a wind chill of about negative 20 to negative 30. So that's gonna be fun tomorrow. No work in the garage is gonna happen then. I might have to turn this on to warm it up a couple of times. But it's been that cold before. It's only gotten down to about 47 in the garage. So we'll see how it goes. I'll finish this up and I'll let you see. All right, I just laid down coat number 3. I think one more coat and we should be good with the green. And then probably next week I'll come back and I'll retape off this top part and paint this intersection back to black where I think that really looks sharp on this hood. So we'll get back to it. Well, I'm waiting for coat 3 to dry. I thought I'd come over here. I'm curious, as this, let's see, right there, about right there is where the steering wheel originally was, the steering wheel shaft. But it's almost a perfect situation. If I can line it up here. Anyway, if I tilt it back just a little bit more, that actually is a 90 with the dash, so that looks okay. And I almost have a perfect hole for a bearing right there. I don't know if these line up just yet because I don't have my bearing yet, but I'm contemplating tilting this back just a little bit more. I think it would be a comfortable angle for the steering. I will get back with you on that later. Well, there it is, 5 layers. I had an issue with the second can with the nozzle. It busted. It blew out the little white tip. I didn't realize it was spraying downwards as well. So now I've got some permanently green dots on the garage floor. Now it's got character. Like I said, I'll tape off the top part in about a week when it's back in the 70s again next week, and paint the little black section back. But there you go. In my climate control paint booth. Okay, right away I'm going to show you what my first problem is. Let me situate this. So I got 3/4 inch tube. And I've got some pillow blocks for my steering. One's going to go right under the dash here, and the other one almost perfectly lines up to these two holes here. There's my other pillow block. I was checking that out. Well, the first problem is 3/4 or 0.75 outer diameter pipe or tube with a 0.75 diameter bore on this pillow block bearing. You can't put 0.75 over 0.75 unless you do a lot of compressing or like maybe heat that up or cool that down. I don't want to go through all that jazz. I want to be able to take this apart in the future if I need to fairly easily. So I'm taking down some of the outer material on the tube. If I had a buddy with a lathe, this would probably be really easy. But what I'm doing, I talked with Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and he had the same issue. But two options: take out some material here inside the bore, or take down some material on the tube, or both. I have decided, since this is hardened, I am not going to touch the bearing. This is mild steel, I believe, and I'm just sanding on it with the mouth sander, or a little palm sander. And I've got this thing, after about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I've got it where I can get, well, I ain't got nothing to hold it up. Hold on a second. Here we go. I've got it where I can put it on now. Almost to the point where I'm going to cut it, which is right here. So I got a little tight spot right here. I think about 5 more minutes of sanding and getting it all smoothed out and cleaning it. It'll be ready to go. Then I can mount my pillow blocks. So that's where I'm at. Okay, I've got the part that I'm going to use on this tube cleaned up, sanded down, where my pillow blocks now easily slide over it. Now the next step. I bought this since my rack is going to be mounted to the axle and not the frame of the tractor. My link from the rack to where my steering is going to be right here, it's going to need to be able to flex in and out just a little bit because of the suspension. To do so, I got this little guy right here. It's for like a golf cart or like a little dune buggy. I looked and looked and looked. I could not find one with the right spline and size. This is really, it's about a 1/2 inch instead of 5/8. I think it's actually metric, just slightly smaller than 5/8. But this will allow me to, this expands and comes back together. Let me hang it up on something here. There we go. You can see where it slides out and slides back in. So my thought on that, as I drop everything, is I'll go ahead and I'm going to chop these universals off. And I've already lost one of them. But anyway, I'm going to take this double universal. I'm going to slide it over the rod, which just happens to be 3/4 of an inch right here. So that'll be great. I'm going to slide that over and weld this in. So this will be the new universal for here. And I'll have a double. I'm also, this is the part that will link to this tube. I'm going to drill a hole through it and a hole through this. That way I can put a bolt through it and disconnect this later if I need to change belts, because my steering is going to go between the belts. There's no way to avoid it. And I've got another universal for up here, but I don't know what I did with it. It ran away on me. I'll have to find it. That I will re-weld up here, which is just basically a straight universal like that. Oh, it's on my rack. which is this piece here, I will weld there. Something that Tennessee Mountain Homestead also told me was, even though this is 5/8 36 spline, he had trouble getting it to slide over this, pretty much like I have. But I can get it, if I show you, if I would catch it just right. There is like maybe a locator spine, I'm not sure, but there's one spot I can get it on there, and I can actually slide it up to the groove pretty easily. But passing the groove isn't as easy. Oh, here it is. I might be able to do this one-handed, but yeah, there it is. See, it'll slide up to the groove real easy, and I can get it back off. I'll have to work on that and get that to go a little easier. But once it's on, I'm not really worried about it coming off the rack. But like I said, I'm gonna chop this here. Probably gonna put a little piece of tube in there, because I think a 3/4 inch will fit inside this right here. And I've got a little piece already cut off. It's over here in my cart that I'll weld in there, and then weld that to the universal. Oh, I threw it back here too far. Oh, here it is. A little piece there. Or I can use the extra piece from that tube over there. It don't matter. I already got that one cut. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Oh, and I also got new pulleys. So I need to check to see if I can get around my belt, but I got to take my grill off to do that. But I got 8" for the engine. I'm gonna try 6" on the transaxle. We'll see how that goes. See if I can get around the shifter. And like I said, I'm gonna change the little nipple there for my vent to 90, and I'm gonna probably just shoot it straight to the frame over here somewhere, and then come up. I'm gonna bring it up to the top of the gas tank. But there you go, moving along. All right, progress update. There's my rod. There's the first pillow block, and there's the second pillow block. I just have them finger tightened. No, not have it. Yeah, there it is. That's about where it's gonna come out the bottom. So that tells me how far I need to go for this. So I will need a slight extension of this. Well, actually, I won't be going down that deep. It'll actually be up a little higher. But I won't need it that deep. Well, maybe. We'll see if we need an extension on that part that comes in and out. Because, like I said, there's a good, let's see, about 6 inches of a give. So, get it in there. Ouch. But, a little bit at a time. I just got it finger tightened. That's pretty solid already. I see it's got some set screws on the pillow block, so I could set those. If I want to, a little extra, I might put some lock collars in there. I still need to go from there to the front axle, which is right here, which I'm gonna weld this piece of angle on for the rack to bolt to. Gotta bring it out far enough so my tie rods will clear those. And I've got my steering wheel mounted. Just used a golf cart steering wheel. I don't have it fully attached yet, but I put a bolt through it, and I put a bigger drilled out hole so I can countersink the nut and the bolt, so I won't catch on that. But that's where I'm at right now. Get ready to weld this, then I'll paint it up and remount that with the well, actually I cut out for the rack first, and then once that's in, then I just need to work on my tie rods to the outside edge. All right guys, I'm about ready to do my final install steering shaft. Checking on the front axle, see if its paint's dry. It is. Ready to put that back on. Let's get to it. All right guys, getting ready to install the steering rod and the steering wheel for the, well, maybe not the last time on the steering wheel, but for the steering rod, hopefully. Steering wheel did have a horn button in the middle of it, but I seem to have broke that. But I did make a provision for later. All right guys, I got the rack installed on the axle, as I said I would. I'm getting ready to reinstall the axle back on the tractor. And then all I got to build now is my links from here to here. Doesn't look like they'll have to be too long, but I do need to build them. All right, I've got the universal that I've welded onto the straight universal, welded onto the shaft here, and connected up to the rack. I was seeing if I was going to need to extend this section that's in my hand for this universal right here. And it looks like I do not only extend it out about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch out of the shaft. So there's a whole lot more flex to go, and I got room coming back and forth. So I've got a good 4 to 6 inch flex for this pipe. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little stub in this pipe here and go into that piece there. So probably about 1.5 inch piece of 3/4, and I'll weld those together, and that'll be solid like that. So I'll cut my piece of 3/4 right now, and I'll probably do this later because it's getting late, but I'll probably get it done tomorrow. And then I should have steering to the rack up to the steering wheel. But on these, I figured out what I got to do. I'm wanting to probably go ahead and straight cut right here, parallel to the axle. We'll get this straight. I'm gonna cut straight across. I'm gonna raise it up and bring it back out again. And that will get me plenty of clearance right here in this triangulated area, that no matter how it bends or whatever, I've got a good 2, maybe 3 inches, 2.5 inches in there that I shouldn't get bound up anywhere. And if I was to leave this like this, it is a possibility I could get that underneath and bend it or break it. So that's where I'm at on this. I'm gonna probably, like I said, cut it, put a flat piece coming up to make it level with the rack in here, out to here, and I think that'll work. So let me cut off my little piece, my little stub to put in both ends of that pipe, or in the universal and in that pipe, so I can weld those together. Okay guys, I hate to do this, but I'm going to end this video right here as a part 1 on the suspension. I ran into a big roadblock, and parts are going to take a while to get here, so no sense of making this video that I've got recorded so far will take so much time. So I'll show you what I got going on and what I got left. Just to review real quick, my lower links are done, upper links are done for my radius setup. Shocks are on. Front end is solid, ready to go. Steering wheel is on. Here's my shaft, I got a hub. Like I said, I countersunk the hole for the bolt going through it. Pillow blocks, top and bottom, so that's pretty sturdy, smooth as butter. Here's where I ran into the problem. Let me get the part. Here we go. All right. What I was going to do was off the little stub right there for my steering. I had this double universal that was well, actually it was like this, because there's my hole for the steering. I have a part that goes over this. Here it is. It used to be welded together. Now it's not. But because my rack and pinion is attached to the axle, and the axle floats because of the suspension, I needed a steering shaft that would slide, like I said earlier. Well, I can't support this and this work together because the lower universal just goes all over the place and binds up. So I'm going to go to the single. I tried with the single that I originally cut off of this that was the wrong spline. Well, I don't need a spline for that. But anyway, I think I can get that angle. We'll see. It's going to be a little bit steep, but I've done it before with Cal, so we'll see how that works. And that's where I'm at with the suspension and steering. These, as I mentioned also, will not work because they hit there. So what I'm going to do is I've made these little pieces that I'm going to weld right here, because I am going to bring this hole in just a little bit, get a little more geometry. But I'm going to weld this like this. I got these little weld-on gussets that I had that I'll gusset it right there. And then I'll probably take me a line, a string, go from here to the center of the back axle so I can get my Ackerman right. But that's where I am on that, and that will, as you can see, it's pretty much dead shot right in the middle of the hole there to get to the rack and pinion. So that'll resolve that issue. I'm going to go ahead and weld this on first. That way I'm going to put a bead down this side and a bead down this side, and then I'll chop what's left off. And this, when it comes around, will also should be a good steering stop once it comes around, as I can go quite a ways before it would hit. But once I get that other universal, give that a go. Hopefully that works out. If it doesn't, I may have to figure something else with the steering to change it up a little bit. Hopefully not. But I also figured out what size belt I need. I measured out 100 inches. Quite a bit, but we'll see. There's my belt guide for the back side of the pulley. This belt guide has a bend in it. Yeah, that's why they got the arrows, so I can have the bend come out a little bit so it don't rub the pulley. But that's a stock belt guide. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll zoom. It's hard to tell. Oh, the clutch is in the way. But this gets it around the steering shaft for the belt. So my pulleys look like they're going to work. So that's good. And I'm going to need to get this down on tires and off of this makeshift table I've made, because there's a possibility we might be getting a new car tomorrow, and we're going to park it in the garage because there's going to be storms next week. Anyway, that's where I'm at. It's going very slow, at least for one of my builds, as many of y'all know. But we'll get it. It's just going to take a while. Got lots of time left for the build off. I was hoping to get it done before June, but that could still happen. But the rate I'm going, maybe not, because this March month is going to be a little bit busy, and that's just fine. Catch you later.